Whether you like it or not, AI agents are creeping into our workflows as a developer, and in this video, I wanted to talk about how I am structuring my daily work and my projects for an ideal developer experience. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Sabatino. I've been a professional developer for about 12 years, and I currently run 2 of my own projects. I run a multi-tenant food ordering platform and a baby registry website in Belgium. And across these 2 platforms, we have about 1.2 million monthly active users. To put that into perspective, Belgium has about 11 million people, and that means roughly 1 in 10 Belgians interact with one of my products every single month. What I'm about to show in this video is how I use agentic coding today, as of February 2026, and how I use this to get features into production and into the hands of actual users. Let's dive in. By now, I guess we've all seen the loop technique called Ralph go viral in the beginning of 2026. And it also had a big impact on how I develop today. Everything starts with a product requirement document. And this is actually the most important part of agentic coding. I use a Claude Code skill to help me write the first draft, and then I make manual edits until I think it's perfect. You can use plan mode for this, but I found that just saying ask follow-up questions into your prompt works just as well. I spend a lot of time on this step. Writing documentation, pseudocode, database schemas, you name it. Let's say we want to introduce Stripe as a payment provider. I would do something like this. I will say Claude, I will say PRD, I want to integrate Stripe as a payment provider and execute that. Claude will scan the code, look for patterns be used while integrating other payment providers, and it'll come back with a few questions that I can answer before it'll create the PRD. Once the PRD has been written to the file system, I'll go in and manually make some edits to make sure it meets my own quality standards. The PRD will be loaded into the context of the model on every iteration, so it's important that this document contains as much implementation details as possible for the best results. When you have a PRD and are happy with its structure, it's time to kick off a loop. If you've used the scripts that have been circulating online, you may use something like this. You may say scripts Ralph loop, we'll say example, and we'll say 10 iterations. We'll kick this off, and then no output is to be seen for multiple minutes. Now, if we dive into the script to investigate, we'll see our system prompt gets passed to Claude. We'll say permission mode accept edits, and then we'll see -p. Now, let's talk about the -p flag for a minute. This argument will print a response and exit. So for example, if we say Claude -p, we'll say hello world, the model will boot, interpret the prompt, generate a response, print it, and exit. And in my opinion, this is not a great experience for a loop, because Claude will buffer its output and only print it right before exiting, which makes tailing its output very difficult. Now, this is where JSON streaming comes in handy. Instead of saying -p hello world, we can say output format stream JSON. And if we say stream JSON, we also have to say verbose, otherwise it'll complain. And now Claude will output things as soon as they come in. And this is already much better, but these JSON streams are kinda hard to read. So I created a small Node.js script that is able to parse the JSON as it comes in and print it in a readable way in the terminal. Let's test it on our PRD. We'll say node, we'll say ralphloop.js, we will choose our example PRD, we'll say 10 iterations, and now you'll see the agent working in real time, and this is something I can get behind, as we can tail its output and see what it's doing in real time. The only thing that's still bothering me is the fact that we need to keep this window open while it's working, because if we close the terminal window, the agent loop stops. And this is where the screen command comes in handy. And sure, I know tmux exists, but screen is just so simple and efficient that I prefer using screen in this case. We can run this node command in a screen session using screen. We'll say D for detached, M for forcing the creation of a new session, S for naming the session example. We'll start a Z shell. We'll make it interactive and we'll pass a command, and the command we'll pass is our node Ralph script we tested earlier. Now we've effectively started our loop in a screen session. We'll say screen list and we'll see it working there. It's detached. We can attach to it by saying screen -r, we'll say example, and there we can see the agent working. And this is amazing because we started the loop, sent it to the background, and we can attach to it whenever we want to tail its output. We can detach from it again by saying Ctrl-AD. If you want to kill the agent script, you can attach to the screen, press Ctrl-C, and both the script and the screen will terminate. Here's a quick tip. make sure your sandbox is active when you're running these loops, because this will drastically reduce the amount of times you need to give Cloud permission to do something, while still making sure there are a decent amount of guardrails, preventing the agent to go outside of the working directory, for example. You can be very strict about it, or you can make the sandbox fall back to the regular permission flow. This is an operating system level sandbox on macOS, which means that you can run this without any extra dependencies like the Docker sandboxing that you may have seen floating around. Now, I hear you think, that's all great, but those are many commands to remember. Well, that's exactly what I thought, so I created a Laravel command that will do this for me. Instead of calling my Node.js script manually, I can just say php artisan agent loop. I select my PRD, and behind the scenes my Laravel command will start a screen session like we did before, but just in a much easier fashion. I also created a command that allows me to tail the running agents using php artisan agent tail, and this command will attach to the screen of the running agent we selected, and since we only have a single one running, it'll attach to it directly. We can also run this in a single convenient command using php artisan agent loop, and we'll say attach. We'll say example. This will start a loop and attach to the screen session in a single convenient command. Next, I have a status command, and this will list all the spawned agents and its status. As you can see, we have our example agent and it's still running. And finally, I can kill an active agent by running php artisan agent kill. We'll kill our example, we'll confirm, and there we go. In the description of this video, you will find an example repository with all these commands linked so you can play with them yourself. Using Git Worktrees became essential to my new workflow. Let me explain. If we have a few features that are in development, I work on them in a Git worktree in the Laravel Valet parked directory. By doing this, Laravel Valet will pick up the worktrees as an isolated domain, and I can test multiple branches of my project in the browser at the same time. I don't use Laravel Herd, but I'm certain that there's a way to achieve this in Herd as well. Whenever I set up a new worktree, I run a bootstrapping command that copies over the environment file and updates the app URL. Then it installs the dependencies and provisions an isolated database so the worktrees don't cross-contaminate. All in all, I can spin up a new worktree in about 30 seconds. And I obviously have a few convenient Laravel commands that help me set up a worktree. When starting an agent loop, I also created a worktree flag which will set this up automatically for me. And this means I can have a few parallel agents working on isolated worktrees while being able to test each specific worktree in full isolation. This also means I can keep working on the same project in a different branch while the agent is busy, and we won't disturb each other. Finally, I set up a dedicated machine that I can offload work to. I also developed a few Electron apps, and due to the way our apps work, only a single instance can be running at the same time on a machine. This means I can be testing the Electron app at the same time an agent is doing changes and is testing them using the DevTools MCP, for example. The machine in question also powers my Thunderbolt display from 2011 behind me, and as a total aside, this device runs a custom Electron app that exposes a simple remote control interface so I can make it display a few nice backgrounds, and I absolutely love how it looks in my home office. Pet projects aside, my Laravel agent command is also able to start agents remotely. I can say php artisan agent loop, will set up a worktree, and will set it up on our remote. And behind the scenes, this will do exactly the same as a local agent, only over SSH. In the case of my Electron app, this means I can test my Electron app on my machine, while the agent is doing the same, but on his machine. And this is a thing I even end up doing for my Laravel project, because this machine sits in my home office and I often switch devices. It makes it very easy to have one central place to run agent loops. My workflow has been changed drastically in 2026, but I don't see this as a bad thing, because I truly find joy in shipping features the agentic way. I can spend way more time thinking about how we want to tackle a specific problem and let the agent fill in the blanks. At the end of the day, this workflow is a huge net gain for me personally, because I can ship features faster than ever. We're still a small team, so our customers really benefit from this faster development cycle. And let me be very clear, this does not mean I stopped coding by hand. I review the agent code in great detail and definitely don't accept any slop into my codebase, so there's a good amount of manual coding left in my workflow, which I still enjoy. Let me know in the comments if your workflow has changed. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.